So what we have is a number of different ways for players to gather resources in our game, and each of these ways has a really significant effect on the kinds of troops the player can really afford to build. Now, all of these resources are gathered in different ways. This resource is gathered by killing enemy troops, or by finding monsters, maybe goblins or trolls or just wargs that are loose on the map and killing them. To gather this resource, you probably want some very powerful heroes, or at least some very tough troops to go out there and deal with those guys. If you want to gather this resource to your primary form of resource, and it can be very lucrative to do, you need to sort of invest early in your troops, and maybe not invest so much in the other three possible resources. You can also invest in steel. Now, if you build a blacksmith, as you can see here, or if you build a forge, this building will start creating steel for your site, which goes into your generic resource pool, but it has a real impact on the kinds of forces you can build, because each steel mill, each forge, each blacksmith reduces the cost of upgrades and certain troop types. So if you have, say, 4 forges, all of your upgrades are 4 times more cheap than they would be ordinarily if you didn't have these forges. You can also invest in food, which you get from farms or from slaughterhouses. You build these things inside your base, much as you would build a forge or blacksmith. But these, again, if you have 3 or 4, you get a cumulative bonus for your farms for the kinds of troops that you can build. So for instance, if I am a Gondor player and I've chosen to build 4 farms, I might have as much as 40 or 50% off all of my infantry costs. This means I'm an infantry player. I'm going to build a lot of archers, I'm going to build a lot of soldiers, I'm going to try to beat you with those. On the other hand, if I'm that same Gondor player, but instead I've chosen to build 4 blacksmiths, now I have a huge bonus on siege weapons, I have a huge bonus on building various upgrades, and so I will probably have a much smaller, much more dangerous force than the player who chose to build nothing but farms.